a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Zubaira Tukhugov. Zubaira Alikhanovich Tukhugov is a Russian mixed martial artist of Chechen descent, who formerly fought in the featherweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. A professional MMA competitor since 2010, Tukhugov made a name for himself, fighting in promotions like Cage Warriors, ProFC, Fight Nights and others, before joining the UFC in 2014. In 2016 he received a USADA suspension for illegally using performance-enhancing drugs. Then, on the 6th of October 2018, Dana White announced he would no longer be fighting for the UFC due to his attack on Conor McGregor in the octagon following McGregor's match at UFC 229. Mixed martial arts career. Tukhugov made his professional debut in 2010, beating his 3 opponents by winning Pancration Atrium Cup 8-man, one-night tournament. After a 10-3 mixed martial arts records, he would be signed by the Russian promotion, Fight Nights, where he won all of his 3 fights, defeating Romano de los Reyes, Harun Kina, and Vaso Bakusevic. During his time on Fight Nights, Tukhugov did a fight for Cage Warriors, defeating Denis Podnebesny at CWFC 58. Ultimate Fighting Championship. In December 2013, it was announced that Tukhugov had signed a contract with UFC and was scheduled to make his promotional debut against Thiago Tavares on February 15 at UFC Fight Night, Machida vs Mousasi. However, Tavares was forced to pull out due to an undisclosed injury, and was replaced by UFC newcomer Douglas Silva de Andrade. Tukhugov dominated the fight and got a unanimous decision win. Tukhugov later faced Ernest Chavez on October 4 at UFC Fight Night, Nelson vs. Story. He won the fight via technical knockout due to punches in the first round. Tukhugov was expected to face Thiago Tavares on June 6, 2015 at UFC Fight Night 68. However, the pairing was scrapped after Tukhugov suffered a rib injury. Tukhugov faced Felipe Never on December 10, 2015 at UFC Fight Night 80. He won the fight by split decision. Tukhugov next faced Renato Moicano on May 14, 2016 at UFC 198. In a controversial series of events, despite Tukhugov suffering a kick to the groin in the first round and again in the second round, referee Eduardo Herdy signaled the competitors to continue. Tukhugov lost the fight via split decision. Tukhugov was expected to face Thiago Traitor on December 9, 2016 at UFC Fight Night 102. However, on November 14, Tukhugov was pulled from the card after being notified by USADA of a potential anti-doping violation stemming from an out-of-competition sample collected earlier. In February 2018, it was announced that Tukhugov received a 2-year USADA suspension and contributed USD $10,000 for the arbitration proceedings in testing positive for ostarine from a sample collected on October 29, 2016. Tukhugov was scheduled to face Artem Lobov on October 27, 2018 at UFC Fight Night 138. However, it was reported that Tukhugov was removed from the fight due to his role in the UFC 229 post-fight melee. UFC 229 Nurmagomedov-McGregor post-fight incident. At UFC 229, Khabib Nurmagomedov jumped the cage after his victory and charged toward Conor McGregor's cornerman Dylan Dennis. Soon after, McGregor and Khabib's cousin Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov attempted to exit the octagon, but a scuffle broke out between them after McGregor punched Abu Bakr, who then punched him back. McGregor was then attacked by 2 of Khabib Nurmagomedov's cornermen, Tukhugov and Isdemir Agaev. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?